technical issues aside, when he became Chief Justice, she did a whole charade of where she's like, well, I'm going to step down. I'm going to take on a new role because it wouldn't be appropriate for me to stay as a lawyer with my husband being the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court, unelected. So what she did is she went and became a contractor, and she would join up firms with clients, right? Legally. So let's say you had a case going before the Supreme Court. She would come in and link you up, help you network. The only problem is her husband is the Chief Justice. So her financial records show that she collected, there you go, $10.3 million from law firms who went up with cases at the Supreme Court. I mean, this is corruption on its face, right? And there's just no recourse of what we could do. Does my head go out right there? Sorry. I can't believe I hit the delete button right before I came in here. But anyway, it's a new thing every week. Every week we get a new justice thing. You know, it started with Clarence Thomas. You guys all seen this? The Correspondence Dinner? Because it is hilarious. If you haven't all seen it, I want to share this with you. The guy from The Daily Show, Woods Jr., I think he might take over, but he had the best segment. If you guys have seen this, I could stop it, but this is hilarious.
You are trying to erase black people, and a lot of black people wouldn't mind some of that erasure as long as that black person is Clarence Thomas.
The end is especially good.
A billionaire named Harlan Crow is flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips, like an Instagram model, taking Clarence to the Maldives and the beaches and all. Paid for his mama's house, this billionaire. Paid for Clarence Thomas' mama's house. I gotta give it up to billionaires. Billionaires, boy, y'all are relentless. Y'all always come up with something new to buy. Like, just when you think of everything you could buy on Earth, a billionaire will come up with a new thing. Y'all can buy space rockets, you bought Twitter. This man bought a Supreme Court justice.
So I'm gonna make you listen.
Do you understand how rich you have to be to buy a black one on top of that? There's only 2 in stock. And Harlan Crow owns half the inventory. We can all see Clarence Thomas, but he belongs to billionaire Harlan Crow. And that's what an NFT is.
That's what an NFT is. That's amazing. That just the end of that joke, an NFT. So back in the day when NFTs were kind of a thing, I didn't ever expect to sell any, but I just wanted to try to make one, right? Just to see if I could do it. And I ended up making a series of these ones. Nothing happened, of course, because no one buys NFTs because it's a money laundering scheme. But I actually turned that into a shirt. You could go to, I think it's like Chad the Chud merch or something. But I have this shirt. I wore it while I barbecued. So I made one of them into a shirt. But I made a set of like 100 of these Reagans or 1,000 or whatever. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I minted it and everything. It's not worth shit. Don't ever buy an NFT unless you're laundering money. Don't even buy an NFT from me. But anyway, the court, you know, maybe you guys get sick of this dead horse on here because I do keep saying it, but I really feel like, you know, the deep state is this. You guys are so sick of me saying it, but this Federalist Society, right? They own more than half the judges on the Supreme Court. And I do mean own. It's super PAC, dark money. They put it in to get them all on here, right? The Federalist Society. I keep saying it. If you want your deep state, this is it. Unelected officials. Unelected officials put in by a singular organization with a singular cause and no idea how to see where that money comes from. This is your deep state. So what this episode is, or what this live stream is about, is, you know, what even is the Supreme Court anymore? And why do we all have to do this charade of being behind it and pretending like it's actually what Madisonian wanted. James Madison talked a lot about checks and balances, and he talked a lot about lifelong judges. And as you can see here, Gen Z, where am I at? So without getting too much in my age here, this is kind of the area around here, the 2000s, when I was super trying to articulate to everybody what the Republican Party was doing. Back then, it was also a culture war. It was a lot more of the patriotic culture war, kind of grounded in a 9/11. And that graduated to this, the culture war we have now, because Obama kind of hit that in a hyperdrive when they could actually rail against, a black president. But look at that. 25% of people trust the Supreme Court. This is a Gallup poll. No way to elect new Supreme Court justices. No way to put any of this in the people's hands. John Roberts won't even show up for a check to Congress. He won't even show up to a check to talk about the corruption that Clarence Thomas has done for, 30 years. There's no checks in it. So there should be no, you know what I mean? There should be no, why don't kids trust it? And then you have, your talking mouthpieces coming out. This guy tweeted in response to Clarence Thomas, it's okay that he didn't have to disclose his trips, right? This was a pretty good Twitter thread. I got in this Twitter thread. And then all of a sudden you learn that this dude is in the picture with Clarence Thomas. How'd I make that small? There he is. He's on the retreat with them. There's your Harlan Crow. There's your Nazi collector. So you have the National Review, the Republican newspaper, but there's all these perverse relationships. And I feel helpless about it. I really do. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I guess I just don't know what to do. But talk about Madison a lot. I liked Madison back in the day when we were learning about him, because he was the Federalist Papers and everything else, that's where he really put that we're a representative democracy. So every time you try to tell a chud that we're a democracy and they say, no, we're a republic, so we can storm a Capitol when we lose an election because we're a republic. And the crazy thing is, so now what do we got? We got here, we can start putting up all the scandals. They're all in scandals, right? So Brett Kavanaugh, a documentary is coming out. What I just showed you, the Federalist Society, they squashed a bunch of reports of he would go up and put his dick in girls' hands at school, which is wild. I don't even know. That's that's not even yeah, I don't even know what that is. Who goes up and puts their dick in a hand? That's not a prank. So that's coming out, and then I had these all in order, and then my shit went down. No one ever really talked about the baseball cards. Still pissed about those baseball cards. All his debts get paid off through an obvious money laundering scheme. And my mom, it's kind of weird I'm talking about my mom, but my mom actually pointed out, she always said that Gorsuch was going to be the worst of them because you think he's the cleanest. But what he did was, as soon as he got nominated, he sold 20% of a property he owned, right? And got $500,000 for it, for 20% of a property. So that means it went up, 20%? You're going to make me do math. It went up $3 million. An obvious payoff to him. But the thing is, his mom was Reagan's EPA, head of the EPA. And she stole funds that were designed for the environment, for the EPA. She stole them and had to leave in disgrace. And the crazy thing is, Gorsuch never thought she should have stepped down. He's on record saying, she should have never stepped down. So this is like a family affair of just corruption. All right, let me see what you guys have to say. Hey, what's up, Rosebud? How you doing? You guys can all hear me. Dude, yeah. Oh, you guys watched the barbecue episode? Good. I love the barbecue episode. I want to do one with George Bush, but we're still growing. That episode didn't do as good as some of the others. So you got, and man, John Roberts, huh? How can John Roberts even stay? I mean, how can he stay when his wife made $10 million by people wanting to get in good with the Supreme Court? That's like clear cut. You know, the worst part is a lot of this is you see it's just clear cut corruption, right? Like she is a straight line to when he became the Chief Justice to her making $10 million over the course of 7 years from 2007 to 2014. And the person who actually turned her in was her assistant or whatever who worked for her. She said all this stuff was coming through. All these people were asking for favors, for money, not being very shy about it. Because why be shy about it when these people aren't elected, you know? They're just ordained for life, and nothing they do could get them removed. I mean, they're not even accountable to Congress. They're not accountable to the Senate. They're not accountable to anybody. So like, you know, I didn't grab the video, but Boebert, my girl Boebert, was like, Joe Biden, you're not a king. See if I can find it real fast. But the closest thing to a king is this, right? They're put in there for life and just not accountable. I don't know, man. I guess back in, you know, the 1700s, there was more faith in this system. But what I showed you, the new generation doesn't trust the courts at all. I don't trust the courts at all. This is what I'm talking about. Alito says it's unfair. Nobody's defending him. Who do you want to defend you? I mean, who do you want to defend this corruption? You're in there for life. There should be no job for life. That's what a king is. I mean, that's what kings are. Fucking 8 years is too much for senators. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it's too much. And this guy's... It's unfair. Cry harder. Once again, I'm just on here complaining about the Supreme Court. So, I don't know. I think I'm just frustrated because every week we see new scandals with the Supreme Court. And there's just literally nothing we, as the public, Congress, the Senate, there's nothing anyone can do about it. John Roberts' wife took $10 million. They said, come talk to the court. And he just said, nah, I'm not going to do that. Checks and balances. They are out of control. So I want to get on to the next thing. And I don't want, you know, Democrats can be pussies. They can be the biggest pussies in the world sometime. But let me put this back up right here. Because I think this is important. Let me move my head out of the way right here. So 25% trust the Supreme Court. It's an all-time low. 2022. Nobody trusts the court when this was taken. It's probably even worse now because of the scandals I've shown you. So this is a 75-25 issue. And yet the Democrats seem like, I'll tell you what it is. And I don't want to piss anyone off that, you know, is more center than me who's watching this. But it's neoliberalism, right? These people have dedicated their whole lives, these lawyers. They're part of the legal system, everything else. And they want to believe, I think they want it to succeed like this. They don't want to look at these numbers that only 25% of the people in this country trust the Supreme Court. So when only 25% of the people trust the Supreme Court, something like adding justices is popular. It's a popular notion. No matter what, of course the radical right says you can't add justices. They're trying to ruin the court. You shouldn't listen to them. You should listen to this. 25% of the people trust the court, and it's because of these lifetime appointments. It's because they enrich themselves, man. It's because one group, the Federalist Society, is picking all of them. It's because Gorsuch is selling real estate. It's because Robert's wife is making $10 million. It's because Amy, I don't know. I would say she's a true believer. Is she making money? I haven't seen anything about that. I think she's just in there to get the abortion out of the way. But then you got Kavanaugh, a new documentary coming out. The Federal Society buried even more sexual harassment. His ticket still. Clarence Thomas, 30 plus years of being on a Hitler-loving billionaire's teat. You know what I mean? The NFT. The NFT is amazing. I love it. That maybe top 10 joke ever. They should give him the Daily Show chair just for that NFT joke. That was that was so good. I do have some bad news, though. AOC was thinking about running against Gillibrand, which I'm all for, because I am not a fan of Gillibrand, especially since she came out and said, 120-year-old Feinstein, the oldest roadblock in the world, should step down when she's ready and not before. And yet she made Al Franken quit because of a joke he told 20 fucking years ago. I am not a Gillibrand fan, so I was kind of bummed out that AOC didn't want to primary her, because I would have been all for that. If you guys know in the comments, I don't know if it was Axel Guard or one of the campaign managers says, just do popular things and you'll be popular, right? And it's kind of what Joe was doing at the start. I mean, he came in and he was doing a lot of popular stuff. The chips is popular, no matter what the Republicans say. Keeping like 250,000 jobs here was popular. A lot of I know it was stripped down, but a lot of the Inflation Reduction Act was popular. And I think going against the Supreme Court, a clearly corrupt, I've showed you, clearly corrupt. Whether it's, and there's the head of it. John Roberts' wife making $10 million should make anyone sick. On its own, without all the other stuff. The Democratic Party should quit being such pussies. No one trusts this organization anymore. It's not working. The lifetime appointees aren't working. They're exploiting it. They're cashing out. Go after them. Whether it's adding justices, whether it's impeaching them. Put it up to impeach them. Even if you don't impeach them, just put it up there. Fight. You know what I mean? So there's kind of an old school style of politics, which, I grew up in during the dying phase of it. And it was like this wink, wink across both the aisles. It was very much, I hate it when people say both parties are the same. But back in like the early 2000s, they were both the same. They both had kind of an understanding to not touch stuff, right? And not break stuff. Because it's both their jobs. They were both kind of getting money for it. When Obama was elected and the Tea Party came in and all that shit got super racial, they kind of blew that up. And they didn't blow it up for the right reasons. They blew it up because there was now a black president, right? And they lost their mind. And so we're in a new era now where there's no benefit to reaching across the aisle, to being a singular government, to pushing her forward so everybody still gets paid. There's benefit, as we saw in Tennessee, of going against fights that you're going to lose. Because even though you lose them, look at what they did in Tennessee now. A southern state expelling 2 black guys and not the white woman. They lost, they got expelled. I mean, they got put back in, but they got expelled. But what did it do? It furthered the cause. And that's kind of where American politics is right now, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Look how old I am. Remember that Dennis Miller hack? I used to like him, though. When I was a boy, he was on HBO. He would always finish. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Anyway. Yeah. Dude, AOC, I'm telling you, she's going to be the first female president. But anyway, I think those are all the things I pulled. I just wanted to highlight another week of Supreme Court corruption. And it's not fair because I get on here live and I just vent to you guys about this Supreme Court corruption. I think I've done it 2 weeks in a row now. And I don't have a solution. I really don't. Except to elect more leftist Democrats who aren't scared to fight. No more Gillibrands. No more Feinstein. I mean, of course, no more Feinsteins. She was think Jefferson was president when she got in. We just need a new era that's not scared to fight, that's not scared to hurt the system a little bit. Because, God, as you guys know, the Republicans are not worried about the system. They're not worried about protecting any kind of norms. The Republican Party is the people at the top and the politicians beneath them, and they're in it to get the bag, right? They're in it to get the money. They're picking the bones of what's left of this country. And then the bottom percent are just fighting a culture war so that they don't notice the top percent. You know, every week they're worried about. Even this was kind of cringe to me. Let's see if I have a picture of it. I think I took a picture of it. Maybe not. I took a. Everybody got all mad on Twitter because I said what I was thinking, but you know, Megyn Kelly out here. This is the culture war stuff, and whatever. It's her friend's 50th birthday, right? So we look 50. We're down at the pool. But this is what I mean about Republicans being weirdos. Like, she can't even celebrate her friend's 50th birthday. Now, her friend might be Republican, whatever. That's not the point. But she can't even celebrate a birthday. She can't even go down to the pool, have one weekend away from the culture war, right? Her hat says, make women female again, right? But she can't even go down to the pool without her MAGA-colored political statement, without owning everybody. I mean, anytime they go out, my question is, in this Republican Party, can they just do normal stuff anymore? Or is every outing just an opportunity to own somebody? You know, own the libs, own, you know, trans people, own whoever else is in this culture war, own Bud Light. I mean, can you just ever be normal and just go out without a Let's Go Brandon shirt on? At my gym without, like, some kind of Elon Musk worshipping shirt? Without the 3%ers shirts? I'm just wondering. This isn't healthy to make your whole personality political stuff. I don't know why Megyn Kelly is so mad at trans people. I don't care. Alright, anyway. That's my spiel. That's my spiel and all that. Thanks for hopping on here. The channel's been fun lately. We've been doing good. I'm liking the interaction. So I wish I wouldn't have blown up my settings beforehand. You can kind of see the green around me, and I wasn't ready to go. But I just remember this. If there's anything from this one episode, and now I'm going to shut the hell up and go watch Succession. But if there's anything from this one episode, it's the 25% Democrats. 25% trust the Supreme Court. Pick a fight. Stop being pussies. Pick a fight. All right? We'll be there for you.